Welcome to Monarca podcast, where we speak and interview thought leaders, industry leaders, and impactful people from the creative industry. Today, I'm honored to be speaking to Nick from shed.design company, who's coming all the way from London, UK, to share with us his 20 plus years of experience and the amazing projects that he executed in Dubai and in 50 countries around the world. Please watch, and I'm looking forward to your comments on this episode. Welcome to Monarca podcast, and today we are with Nick. Welcome to Monarca.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So, Nick, let's jump into it. So, if you can introduce yourself to the Monarca viewers.
I'm Nick Stringer, founder of Shed, design consultancy in London. We've been going about 20 or more years, almost 25. So we've done a few things over the years. Be happy to talk about a few of them with you.
No, definitely. Obviously, thanks for sharing. And what an accomplishment, 25 years. You must have started right at the 2000.
Yeah, right, exactly. Left university, packed my bag, moved to Hong Kong.
Did you?
Didn't have a job, but in those days, UK nationals could go and work there. And in a shortish period of time, got a job with Prada, and started on their journey not with them, they were already established, but a few stores here and there. And within 4 or 5 years, we'd done 25 or 30 projects, Prada, Miu Miu.
But being with Prada, what were you doing with Prada?
Not designing anything,
okay.
which was a bit strange, having just finished a design degree. But you know what? It was good because learned a lot of things. Basically, executing projects, directing projects, finding locations, and in those days, in the 90s, Prada was growing fast, and not the brand it is now, but on its way to becoming. And that was a big experience for me, working in 20 or 30 countries as a young man. And
so from Hong Kong, you had to cover all of these countries?
Yeah, covered from north to south, based in Hong Kong, but covered from China and Japan in the north all the way down to Australia.
Wow. Having all of this experience, I would bet that you would have some stories to tell, don't you?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons we're here is we're introduced to Monarca and you guys by a good friend of mine, Rag, who we worked with on Level Shoe District, right. Which at the time, a few years ago, middle of Dubai Mall, 10,000 square meters of shoe retail. Spoke to my father about it. He said, what are you working on? I said, 10,000 feet of women's shoes. 10,000 meters of women's shoes. And he just sort of looked at me blankly and just said, it can't possibly be big enough. so we executed that project with Patrick Shaloub and his team, and it was good. It was a landmark. It was heavy on narrative, which we always feel is important, and it put Shed on the map, arguably. And we've continued to work in retail, hospitality, F&B, and so on, all the things. But we do feel ourselves see ourselves as a multi-design orientated, including establishing brand DNA and kicking off projects properly.
You said the secret of the Level project was narrative, didn't you?
Yeah.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I think Level's location is in the heart of Dubai Mall. It is, if I'm not wrong, it was the Gold Souk area originally. People were walking in there and not being able to find their way out. It was so big.
It's in the ground floor. You access from the ice rink or from the water aquarium, or from. It's
Yeah,
like
that's right. It's in
different.
the heart.
It
It's in the
is,
heart,
yeah.
and I think that's the key to it, really, Mohammed. It's like we were given this area. It was neither a store. It was neither a department store. It was a district, and we conceived it as a district and as a destination. And if you've got a destination, people have to want to go there. Therefore, it has to be right and fit the bill for all their customers. So we broke that. It's a very large area, but we had to break it down in order to get something for everybody. And we did that by having a response to product that was sold in different areas, and that being manifested into the environment. So whether you're buying a $200 or more dollar sneaker, or whether you're buying a 2,000-3,000 pounds in my money, designer shoe, it had to cater for everybody. So we broke it down into a series of pavilions. They each had a heart, each had the brands that they were representing at the heart of their DNA.
Right. So here I would think there are two parts. So the narrative is probably the story that you are telling by the organization that you had for the department store, or district, the way you call it. But also the other part is, in designing and in building, you have to use products that would help you and support you in building this narrative. Can you tell us like the challenges in both parts?
Yeah, I think that designing, in some respects, not straightforward, but it's what we do. It's the execution as well.
Right.
The team in Shaloub were excellent, but it's about the environments. It's about how they're lit. It's about how the service offer works. It's the whole wrapper around a business. And one of the first things that the guy said to us is, we have to get a pair of shoes on a customer within 3 minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. So organisation is key, and lots of different parts to it. I think when you've got a space as big as that, it felt right to us to break it down, and that's where you rely on all the other guys around you, in lighting and product and so on. But
right.
It enabled you to go through the day and take a different customer on a different journey. And I think that's where that sort of narrative architecture, narrative interior has to be at the front of everything.
Amazing. It's a very inspiring, and obviously Level Shoes now it's a landmark on its own in Dubai Mall. And you said that it might be the one that put you on the map as Shed. Where did it take you after that?
It took us to similar and big projects. We started working in South Korea, in Seoul. Did a number of projects over there for Lotte, Shinsegae, big retail organisations, and they all have their different challenges. In Lotte in Seoul, they talk about the 1 mile lady who will want to go from home, maybe take friends, maybe take family, maybe take the children, not travel very far, and then spend the day at that mall or at that retail experience. And the pressure is on you a bit more to make sure that it's enthralling enough that you can keep people there and entertain them through retail and through all the other services they've got, in order that they stay and, of course, hopefully spend. That's the name of the game. And it took us on some of those journeys into different parts of the world.
Love it.
I think we were not, as a company, we're not preoccupied with working on large scale things. We always believe that even the smallest, whether it's retail, hospitality, F&B, whatever, they all have to have and we try and instill this narrative. An example I was going to give you is a guy called Nick Hart, who was a Savile Row tailor.
Right.
And he came to us one day. He's a new school Savile Row. Savile Row is hundreds of years old. He came to us one day, came in our meeting room, table like this, threw down a scrapbook of
fabric and
no, it was more cuttings of images of mid-century architecture. It was David Bowie, Warhol.
That was his inspiration.
All these guys, the Rat Pack, and he'd got this world in his head which he couldn't unlock. He wanted to do a new retail destination. He knew 100% what he was about. Confident guy, brilliant guy as a tailor. Had all this inspiration, and he just said, "You've just got to unlock it and get it out. I don't know how to put this into a world that my patrons and my people can come into." And when you've got all that material, whether it's black and white photos of Palm Springs, whether it's Frank Sinatra, all this stuff. Sometimes you get two different clients. One will come with you with that information and with that vision, but they don't know how to execute it. Right. Other clients will come, they know how to execute it, but they don't have the vision. Right. So we have to try and navigate that. But it all comes back, honestly, man, to having a narrative. And that can be as complicated or as simple as we want to make it, or the client does. But that's something that we strive to either build or to work with if it's given to us.
You know what I'm interested in your 25 years plus, even before Shed and all of the experience you have. I want to know the acceleration of change with technology, especially in the last 5 years, and what you have been witnessing in your industry, if you have something to share about that.
Yeah, I think it's something, first of all, I think we're all struggling to keep up with. We were talking off camera earlier about Sphere in Las Vegas and these environments that have been created. And I was lucky to go and visit the Sphere in Vegas when it just opened. Went to see U2, a band who were on there. And it's ostensibly an interior in the widest sense of the word, but it's about the content, and it's about the digital advances to even pull something like that off. It's a huge venue, both inside and out. I haven't looked it up on Google Map, but I imagine there's a massive illuminated dome in the middle of Las Vegas right there.
On Google Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on Google Earth. And I think things like that, it's not a specific example of something I've worked on. I didn't, but it does broaden the mind into where all sorts of tech is going. Right. I think people are sometimes naive in terms of how they can integrate tech and be future-proof and be, working with social networks and social media and so on. Sometimes it's clients are talking about things that are maybe out of date in our minds, but they also need to see sometimes the future and what's going to happen. And we try and project, 5 years, 10 years ahead to try and even to keep up in one sense, because it's that demanding, So, but so I haven't got the answer to that, but it's a demand that we need to keep thinking about and keep educating ourselves about in order that we can stay on it. And it involves a lot of professionals who are specialists, right. and we try and bring the vision. But as we were talking about earlier, I think a lot of the tech and a lot of the whether it's projection mapping and content. It's all about the content, and that almost goes back to the point I was making earlier about
the narrative,
being strong, and therefore the content being strong. 100%. And if you don't have that, then it doesn't matter how much tech you've got. Otherwise, you're just putting up ad campaign pictures and regurgitating the same stuff that could be a buildable poster down the
Personally,
highway.
I believe that the technology is a bigger enabler for the narrative, where like historically you would have a good narrative and you'd be able to share it with just your neighborhood or the few people whom you meet. Today with the technology, and first we can enhance the narrative itself, and two, we can make it reach more people. And yeah, thank you for that answer. But that leads me to ask you what Nick is working on right now or the next few months that is groundbreaking, if you can share with us.
Can't share everything, but
yeah.
I did in that vein, or in that thread. I think one of the interesting things that I did recently was visit Neom in Saudi.
Yep.
Honestly, I've got mixed feelings about it. I think the ambition is obviously
grand
at a different level. Yeah. Whether it will materialise as quickly as some people might imagine, I don't know. I don't know the details, but I think with Neom, it was again, it's a case of if you don't try, what are you going to do? Because we can all sit back, and I'm sure, once upon a time, the powers that be in Saudi could have sat back and be a comfortable
and do nothing,
comfortable
not even try,
and a place that is attractive to visit, particularly from a religious point of view and so on. It's got plenty of people who want to visit, I think, but they were brave, and they have opened their minds to the future and surpassed what I might be doing in Europe. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I think again, it's having that bravery to look forward, and I think sometimes that comes. It comes at a cost. I mean, we've had that as well, where we've tried things, and you try and push the boundaries and be innovative, and you have some hiccups, and that's
the nature of
life.
That's
the nature of it, and that's and you don't have those hiccups unless you're pushing forward. And I think so I had a lot of respect for what they were starting to do at Neom. I mean, of course, it's still buildings coming out of sand, and it's early days, but and maybe I won't be able to see the conclusion of it in decades from now. Hopefully I will. We'll see.
But hopefully we will, definitely. Yeah.
But there's a lot of respect for people
100%.
And countries who are doing those things, and in a small way for ourselves. If we can push something, then we will. And we'll take it on the chin if there are some hiccups. That's goes with the territory.
Absolutely. No, thanks for sharing. And Nick, I wanted also at the end to ask you if there is anything else you want to share with the viewers and listeners to the podcast.
I think just a small thing, maybe a bit selfishly, while we're here chatting. We want to, we do feel after 20, 25 years, we've got a wealth of experience. We've worked in 50 countries around the world. We've done some, successful projects, and which we're proud of. We want to build on that, and we want to pass some of that knowledge down. I'm working on a project called Shed Academy, and it's a quasi-educational program, which we hope will be a catalyst between university to jobs, from jobs to other jobs, and from people who just sometimes, I've got teenage children. I don't believe either of them have got a strong view on what they want to do, and sometimes you start off from your journey, in education and in life, really, I suppose, because that's a big part of it. And we've got a group of really strong professionals, and it's not about art, it's not about interior design, it's not about commercial
What is it
retail.
about?
It is about that, but it's not just about that.
Right.
It's across art, photography, graphics, architecture, the creative arts in general, and we want to try and help people bridge that gap between choices that they've made and how they can take that on to the next level, just through experience and just through having somebody that they can bounce off, really. Because sometimes, the education, I'm speaking from the UK, that's my home, a lot of university tutors and professors and so on, they've spent a long time in education, and they haven't always spent as much time as we have in the real world. And the same goes for high school, senior school, and so on, and other establishments. So there's nothing wrong with that, because I wouldn't want to be a teacher, So I'm not trying to be, but I think we can.
And I think also there is nothing wrong in that, because we went through that system, and this is where it led us, right? So it's definitely a system that has good results, but there is nothing wrong in adding from the real world experience in the education of the young and less young.
There's nothing wrong at all, Mohammed. I think it's about adding that extra bit of insight, which, to be frank, we don't expect schools and universities to know all of that inside out. Of
and
course
it's okay.
Not. And that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
They're doing their job, and they do it fantastically.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we just want to supplement that. So we're going to start a program probably in the new year, where we take small numbers of students and guys from different walks of life, and we'll just try and answer their questions and just try and offer whatever we can back. It's not always about getting people through the door to work for you. It's just an initiative that we're thinking about very carefully.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing, and looking forward to it. I mean, we are a couple of months away, right?
Yeah, and I think we might even be back here talking about it.
Yes,
hopefully we will.
Definitely.
We can do something. We've already been talking about doing something UAE based as well. Yeah. We get so many inquiries from UAE, from students and so on, and it's a place that we.
So how would people reach you? How could people reach you?
Just all the usual channels, Mohammed. I'll only bore you with one. It's shed.design.
That's the website.
Yeah.
Right. We'll definitely put them in the description of all the content we share. No, thank you.
And our Insta is designed by Shed.
Perfect.
And people, can feel free to. It's very, we're just grateful for people showing interest. If we can help one or two along the way as well, then that's a bonus for us. But we're looking forward into the new year.
Brilliant, Nick. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing. It was really an insightful. I mean, I was not expecting the 50 countries where you had the jobs, and from Hong Kong, Prada. I mean, thanks for sharing all of this, and looking forward to having more discussions and more insights and more impact from you.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. I hope that all of you found this conversation fruitful, inspiring, and impactful. If you have any comments or questions to Nick, please write down in the comments, and looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.